Simon Cowell's life began far from the dazzling lights of television studios. Born on October 7, 1959, in London, he grew up in a comfortable household that looked perfect from the outside. His family lived in Hertfordshire, surrounded by the stability of middle-class life. Yet Simon often described his early years as emotionally distant. His mother, Julie Brett, had been a ballet dancer and socialite, graceful and admired by many, while his father, Eric Cowell, worked as a music industry executive and estate agent. Though the family had stability and opportunity, Simon often felt overlooked. School was not easy for him either. He struggled with the rigid structure and left with very few academic qualifications. At the time, it seemed like he had no clear direction. What he did have, however, was curiosity about the music industry and a quiet determination to find his place in it. Learning the music business from the ground up. Simon's first real opportunity came through his father, who helped him secure a job in the mailroom at EMI Music Publishing. It was hardly glamorous. His days were spent sorting fan letters and delivering paperwork. Still, the job gave him something invaluable: a front-row seat to how the music industry worked. Instead of feeling discouraged by the small role, Simon paid attention to everything around him. He watched how artists were discovered, how songs were marketed, and how record labels made decisions. Those years became an informal education that shaped his future thinking. Over time, he moved into an entry-level A&R position, where he began evaluating artists and songs. Even though he was still far from success, Simon was slowly building the instincts that would later define his career. The mailroom, once a symbol of humble beginnings, quietly became the starting point of his long journey. The risk of building his own label. In the early 1980s, Simon decided to take a major risk. Along with a partner, he launched a small record label called Fanfare Records. For the first time, he was responsible for choosing artists and shaping their careers. The label found some early success, including a novelty pop hit that gained attention in the United Kingdom. Those early victories brought excitement and the feeling that he had finally stepped out of the shadows. However, the music industry moves quickly, and trends can change overnight. As the decade progressed, the label struggled to maintain momentum. The sound that once seemed popular began to lose its appeal. Financial pressure mounted, and eventually, the company closed. The experience was deeply disappointing for Simon, who had invested so much hope into the venture. Yet even during this setback, he gained knowledge that would later help him approach the industry with sharper instincts. Starting over after a difficult chapter. After the closure of his label, Simon found himself back at home with his parents while figuring out his next steps. For someone who had briefly tasted success, it was a humbling period. Yet, it also became a time of reflection. Instead of walking away from the music industry entirely, he began taking smaller consulting jobs and rebuilding professional relationships. These years taught him resilience. Simon realized that success in entertainment often comes from understanding audiences rather than chasing approval from critics. He focused on what ordinary listeners enjoyed: memorable songs, strong personalities, and performances that connected emotionally with people. Slowly, his career began to regain momentum. The experience of starting over reshaped his approach to business and made him more practical in his decision-making. What once felt like failure eventually became a foundation for his comeback. Discovering what the audience loves. Throughout the 1990s, Simon began working with artists and projects that many industry insiders initially overlooked. Instead of chasing trends that critics admired, he focused on music that resonated with everyday listeners. Several of these projects turned into major commercial successes, proving that his instincts about the market were often right. These achievements helped restore his reputation within the industry. They also strengthened his belief that entertainment should connect with a wide audience, rather than just a small group of experts. During this time, Simon refined the skill that would later define him on television: the ability to recognize performers who could captivate millions of people. By the end of the decade, he was no longer the struggling entrepreneur he once had been. Instead, he had quietly re-established himself as a respected figure in the music business. The television opportunity that changed everything. In 2001, Simon was offered a new kind of opportunity, a role as a judge on a British television talent show called Pop Idol. At the time, the idea of a singing competition judged by industry professionals was still relatively new. Simon agreed to join the panel, unsure of how audiences would react. What happened next surprised everyone. Viewers quickly became fascinated by his honest and straightforward feedback. While other judges offered gentle encouragement, Simon spoke openly about what he thought worked and what didn't. The contrast made him memorable. Pop Idol became a huge success in the United Kingdom and opened the door for an even bigger project. When the format expanded to the United States as American Idol, Simon's presence became central to the show's identity. Suddenly, the former music executive was a global television personality, creating global talent shows. After the success of American Idol, Simon expanded his influence in television by creating new talent competitions. One of the most significant was the X Factor, which introduced a different format and gave Simon greater creative control. The show helped launch the careers of several successful artists and groups. Soon after, he introduced another concept: the Got Talent franchise. Unlike traditional singing competitions, this show welcomed performers of all kinds, from singers and dancers to magicians and comedians. The format proved incredibly popular and spread across dozens of countries. Over time, these programs reached hundreds of millions of viewers around the world. Through them, Simon helped introduce new artists to global audiences and change the way talent shows were produced. What started as a single judging role had grown into a worldwide entertainment network. Becoming a father and finding balance. In 2014, Simon experienced a life change that reshaped his priorities. He became a father. His son, Eric, quickly became the center of his personal world. Friends and colleagues noticed a shift in Simon's routine. The intense work schedule that once dominated his life began to make room for family time. He often spoke about how fatherhood brought him a different perspective on success. Instead of focusing only on ratings and business decisions, he started valuing quieter moments at home. Simple activities like reading bedtime stories or spending time outdoors became important parts of his daily life. While Simon had spent decades building a professional empire, becoming a parent reminded him that personal relationships mattered just as much. It marked a new chapter in his journey, one where work and family needed to coexist. Facing health challenges and recovery. In 2020, Simon experienced a serious accident while testing an electric bike at his home. The fall resulted in a severe back injury that required surgery and months of recovery. For someone used to constant activity, the rehabilitation process demanded patience and determination. Physical therapy became part of his routine as he gradually rebuilt his strength. The experience also encouraged him to slow down and focus more carefully on his health. During recovery, he often spoke about the importance of appreciating everyday life and spending time with loved ones. While the accident was a difficult chapter, it also reinforced the lessons he had been learning about balance and well-being. Over time, Simon returned to work, though with a renewed commitment to protecting his health and maintaining a steadier pace. A story of persistence and perspective. Simon Cowell's life is often remembered for the dramatic moments on television, but the deeper story is about persistence and growth. From uncertain beginnings in London to leading some of the world's most watched talent shows, his path was rarely straightforward. There were moments of disappointment, periods of rebuilding, and times when he had to rethink what success meant. Along the way, he learned the importance of listening to audiences, valuing personal relationships and taking care of his health. Today, he continues to work in entertainment, while also focusing on family life and long-term legacy. His journey reminds us that success is not defined only by achievements, but also by the lessons learned along the way and the people who share those experiences with us.